Hi, I'm Alan, and this is my channel. Alan talks about stuff.
One thing I remember about my childhood is Saturday morning cartoons in the 70's. There was no cable at this time, so there was no Cartoon Network where you could get cartoons 24/7. The only time to catch cartoons as a kid in the 70's was Saturday, so of course you didn't want to miss it. As a young kid around the age of 3 or 4, I had no sense of time or what day it was. I remember my mom would tell me there will be cartoons on in the morning. I'd get up as early as I could, fix me some milk and cereal, turn on the TV. Normally the TV would just be a test pattern with a high-pitched noise. I'd turn the sound off not to wake my parents. Back then TV stations didn't have programming on 24 hours a day. Around midnight or 1 a.m., they would play the national anthem, then go off the air. And then on Saturday morning, it would come on around 7 a.m. The Justice League would come on at 7, Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and the Wonder Twins. I've always loved Batman and Superman, even at a young age though. I never got Aquaman. It just always seemed his skill set would be useless 99.9% of the time. The Justice League would always be at their headquarters when they would be briefed on a certain situation. Then all the superheroes would jump into action with some sort of plan. Then Aquaman would be like, I'll go out to sea and summon all the fish. I always wish just one time we'd get an eye roll from Batman, or Wonder Woman would be like, who invited Aquaman to the group? Could someone remind me? Then what's with Wonder Woman's invisible jet? It seems like an invisible jet would just be slightly better than a regular jet. How do you fly in an invisible jet with all the instruments invisible? How high are we flying? Yeah, I don't know. The instruments are invisible. What direction we flying again? Oh, yeah, invisible. Also, one time after a football game, I couldn't remember where I parked my car. We had to wait for everyone to leave after the game and the parking lot clear out to find my car. Could you imagine how many times I'd lose track of my car if it was invisible? And the Wonder Twins, they had the powers to transform, one into an animal and the other one into some form of water. Is it just me, or does forming into a bucket of water that your twin sibling has to carry around seem completely useless? Seems like having to carry the bucket around would seem like more work. Can't he get a bucket of water when he gets to wherever he's going? And then at 8 a.m., I believe Scooby-Doo came on. I think everyone loves Scooby-Doo, but every episode seemed the same. They think this place is haunted, but turns out for the 56th time in a row, someone's just trying to drive the property values around. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling kids. It always cracked me up. The gag where the gang pretended to be mannequins and the bad guys would just run right by them. It fooled them like every time. When I was like 19 or 20, a store in the mall hired live mannequins to pose in the window. For fun, we'd always go down there and try to make the live mannequins laugh and break character. There was always something satisfying when they'd break, and they'd always broke no matter how hard they tried not to. At 9 a.m., it was the Laugh Olympics. It was a competitive competition between groups of cartoon characters. I always pulled for the really rottens. They were the cartoon villains, and they always got caught cheating. At 10 a.m., the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny and Company. My favorite cartoon was the Roadrunner and Coyote. I always pulled for the Coyote and wanted him to catch the Roadrunner. It seemed though the money he spent on all those Acme products, he could have just went to the store and bought food. Even if he catches the Roadrunner, what's that, 2 pounds of meat? Just doesn't seem like worth all the work. I'm not sure when it came on, but I always liked Yogi Bear. Boo-boo, what about the Ranger, Yogi? Screw the Ranger, Boo-boo. I would have loved to see Yogi maul the Ranger and eat him. Don't want us eating picnic baskets? Well, okay. As a very young kid, Saturday morning cartoons was huge. Not having access to cartoons whenever you wanted them made Saturday morning a rite of passage for a 4-year-old kid in the 1970s.
Once again, this is Alan. This is my channel, Alan Talks About Stuff. Thanks for watching.